No more junk volume. It is 2025. There is no excuse for you to still be doing sets every week in the gym that build you no fucking muscle. You shouldn't be doing that, right? It's just wasting your time. And it also gives you the excuse after 6 months that, oh, what I'm doing within my program isn't working. No, you're just doing junk volume. There's no reason why you should be, okay? In this YouTube video, I'm going to give you my 2-step framework for making sure that you never do a single set that is junk volume ever again. And every single time you pick up a dumbbell or use a lateral, a cable machine, it actually builds you motherfucking muscle. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I am the biggest victim of junk volume on planet Earth. In my first 2 years of lifting, I built zero muscle. And when people say that, usually you think, oh, he must not have gone to the gym consistently. He must not have lifted, he must not have turned up. He must not have nailed everything. Bro, I was in the gym 6 days a week for 2 hours every single night. I used to catch the train home from school. And before I jumped on the train, I'd go to the local leisure centre gym. I'd go and crank out 40 minutes worth of workout, right? I'd jump on the train. I'd be on Snapchat looking through workouts on my phone, looking at Ross Dickerson's workouts or Nylan Ager. I can't even remember their names, right? But they're Snapchat workouts. And I was like, right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What do I need to do today? And I'd find this new wacky chest exercise. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to go and do this. So I'd work out at school. And then after doing a 40-minute workout after school, I'd jump on the train home for 30 minutes, catch the train home, and then get off the train, go to the leisure centre home, as in go to another gym, carry on training there for another hour and a half. Then I'd sometimes even go home and go up to my attic gym when the leisure centre gym shut and carry on training there. For 2 years, I was doing this, training 6 days per week, doing hundreds of sets. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sets. And I think I calculated that I'd spent over like 1,000 hours in that little attic gym that I'd built, cranking out these workouts, cranking out these sets, desperate to build muscle because I felt so trapped in my physique. I hated how skinny I was. I was desperate to build muscle and I was training 6 days a week, pummeling, like throwing metal around with Eminem on in the background, crying to myself. No, I wasn't quite doing that. It was NF. But I was giving it my all, but I wasn't building any muscle. And it's because I fell into the trap of junk volume big time. And even though I was doing hundreds of sets, way too many sets, I was doing way too much volume, I was giving it my everything. I was stuck in this mentality of thinking that if I'm not building muscle quickly now, if I wanted to build more muscle, I need to do more. I need to do more sets, more exercises, more workouts. And I was just stuck in this trap where I went from training 4 days a week to 5 days a week. Oh shit, I'm only training my chest twice now. I need to train it 3 times to 6 days a week. Oh my God, I want my legs to grow. I can't get away with just training them twice. I need to train them 3 times. And it just got into this vicious cycle of me thinking, oh my God, I'm not hitting my front delt twice a week. Okay, I need to make sure in every time I train up a body, I'm hitting my front delt, my side delt, and my rear delt. And so that everything's getting hit. And it got into this kind of perverse obsession with making sure that I was doing every single muscle group twice or 3 times a week to maximize my growth. And my sets per workout were going from like 15 to 20 to 25 to 30 to 40 until it was just ridiculous. And on a weekly basis, I was going in, opening up my logbook or looking at my workout and going, oh my God, I've got so much work to get through. And inevitably, the quality of the work dropped. And that is what happened, right? For 2 years, I got stuck in the trap of just trying to do more. And it led to me never, ever doing enough quality in those sessions to actually build me the muscle that I wanted to build. And it was hard for me to actually let go of this and bring my volume down because I'd got so attached to, if I saw it working at all, so if I saw even a little bit of muscle growth, I was like, oh my God, right, I just need to carry on doing more. And when I realized that, it got to the point where I couldn't do anymore. I was training 6 days a week for 2 hours. I had a life outside that. I was trying to play rugby. I was trying to do other things. I didn't have time for anything else because I was in the gym for so much time. I was like, oh, that's it. My genetics are always going to hold me back. That's what it has to be, right? If I'm in the gym 6 days a week, training twice, for 2 hours every time I'm in here, has to be my genetics that hold me back now. And I felt like defeated. I was like, shit, I'm just not going to be able to have the time to to build the muscle. But now, years later, I've realized that it's nothing about it's a little bit about how much work you're putting in, but it's more so about the quality of the actual work you're putting in and making sure that every rep you're actually doing is causing growth rather than just trying to add more. Because if it's not working right now, adding more isn't going to help, right? That's just like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what's going to stick. Instead, why don't you actually start working on what you're throwing, right? Like, I know that's a bad analogy, but it matters so much. And as soon as I shifted my focus from just doing more and more and more to cause growth to actually getting more out of what I was currently doing, I started seeing so much more growth. And now I train 4 days a week and I'm growing twice as quick now than I did in my newbie phase 6 years ago. So when I had newbie gains happening and I hadn't ever touched a dumbbell before and I should have been growing really quickly, I'm growing quicker now than I was then, training 4 days a week compared to 6 days a week back then. So I'm going to give you my 2-step framework to making sure that you never fall into the trap of junk volume, because it is a vicious fucking cycle and it will stop you making gains completely and leave you burnt out and hating the gym as well. So you have to take these on board. Number 1 is actually take some fucking sets to failure. Duh, right? Junk volume, what it is in itself is sets that are sometimes too far away from failure. It can be because your form is bad, but more often than not, right, it's a set that's just not causing growth and it's just filling up time in your workouts. It's keeping you in the gym for longer, but it's not actually causing any growth on your physique. To make sure that this isn't happening, we need to make sure that you are training with the number 1 most important thing is enough intensity. This is where I was falling short. I was spending 2 hours a night up in my attic, right? But I was just doing rows for the sake of doing rows, never actually getting close to failure, never actually taking the reps where it started to slow down. As soon as I got a little bit of a mild burn, I was like, oh yeah, that's close to failure. That's it, done. I was nowhere near failure. And it meant that I was always 5 or 6 reps away. And that is just not good enough to build muscle. That is never going to build you as much muscle as somebody that is training with like 1 rep in the tank. But here's the caveat. When I say that, people think, okay, why don't we just train with 1 rep in the tank all the time then? How do you know what 1 rep in the tank looks like if you've never actually gone to failure? It's impossible. You're not going to be able to logically go, yeah, that was definitely 1 rep in the tank, unless you've been to failure in the past. So step number 1 is on an exercise that you are shit hot confident in your form on, that you've been doing for a while, you feel strong, you feel confident, you've not got any niggling injuries, take a set to failure, right? Take a set to failure. And when I say failure, I actually mean failure, not where, as soon as you get towards the end of the set, you let your form change and kind of start shafting it up. No, fuck that. With perfect form, maintaining your form as, with absolute precision, the only thing that should be changing when you go from rep 1 to rep 10 is the speed of the rep, right? That's the only thing that should be changing here. And on your last few reps, go to the point where it does not move. It does not move. Repeat after me. Take a set to the point where it does not move, because that only will teach you what 0 RIR feels like. And until you've done that, you can't work backwards and guess what one rep in the tank feels like or 2 reps in the tank feels like, because you've never been there. So that's step number 1. Okay, take some sets to actual failure without letting your form change, without pretending that you're actually at failure. What you need to do on this set here is take your mind somewhere else. Get your form locked in, set yourself up perfectly, take your mind elsewhere, and let that fucking weight just move up and down until you fail, right? That's it. Simple as that. You'll learn so much about that. You'll learn so much from doing a set like that and actually taking a set close to failure. And you'll realize that you had an extra 3 reps in the tank than you thought. And that was what's holding you back if you're just trying to go to 1 rep in the tank all the time, right? If you've never been to failure, never trained to failure, and you're trying to hit 1 rep in the tank, most likely, more often than not, every client that's come to work with me, they're actually leaving 3 or 4 in the tank, but they don't realize it. Okay, so what you're gonna take away from taking some sets to failure is realizing that you've got so many more reps in the tank than you think. Okay, so that's step number 1. Take some sets to failure. And step number 2, once you've taken a few sets to failure and you understand what it actually feels like, what it feels like for a muscle to lose power like that, step number 2 is if you're going to take sets, to 1 rep in the tank or 2 reps in the tank in the future, that's fine, because I wouldn't recommend you train to absolute balls out failure into partials every single time. You're going to have some sets that are 1 or 2 reps away. But the way that you can check this and actually check this, not just mentally, but actually watch the video back. So step number 2 is record your form videos on pretty much all of your exercises, for the whole week. Whenever you get the chance to, record your videos back, because I can't tell you how easy it is. I've been training for 6 years. If I was just relying on my head to tell me when I was close to failure, I would not be training hard enough. Because during a set, your head is telling you this: bro, stop. Your bicep's going to snap. Bro, stop. That hurts so much. It's burning. It's crying. Stop. You're at failure. You've done enough. This is hard enough. Watch the video back and it's like, woohoo, woohoo. Woohoo. The speed does not go down, okay? Watch the video back. Number 1, you can assess your form and make sure that is absolutely spot on and everything's lining up. Secondly, without the voices in your head, without the emotion that you've got in that moment of actually being in the set, you can watch it back and go, was I actually close to failure? You can watch it back and go, did my rep actually slow down, right? But you can't do that in the moment unless you've been training for 10 years and you're absolutely spot on with this. It's really hard to do that in the moment if you're not really well practiced. So if you're in like your first year, 2 years, 3 years, up to your first 10 years of training, form videos are unbelievably useful. I record form videos every single session, and in between my sets, I do this superset of doing the set and then watching it back, assessing my performance. How close to failure really was I? And this has been the most useful superset I've ever done in the gym ever, okay? So record your form videos, watch them back, and honestly, watch the videos back and go, was I close to failure there? Did the reps slow down? Did I really struggle? Or was that all in my head? Okay, was that all in my head? Now, if you want my framework on learning how to maximize your gains from the gym, and not only just training with intensity and making sure that there's no junk volume, but actually like how to get the most out of your training, the little techniques like your eccentrics, your pauses, all of that, go and hit the link below at the top of this video, because that's a link for my 30-day bulking challenge, which gives you training programs and it talks you through step by step how you should increase your intensity week by week, how you can set up exercises to get the absolute most out of them, and it also takes care of all of your nutrition as well. So if you want my help on getting the most growth you possibly can out in the next 30 days, go and hit that link, sign up, and I'll see you in there. And I'll see you on the next YouTube video.